Hello and welcome to Clearview News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja.
In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari urges sacrifice and unity as Nigeria marks its 59th independence anniversary. Whereas the State House of Assembly elects new speaker amidst gunfire at the Assembly complex. Introduction of sex education in primary schools in Ghana sparks controversy as a Moroccan would-to-be couple get 1 year jail for alleged abortion.
I am Rose Audu with the details of these and more. President Muhammadu Buhari says 1st October each year is an opportunity for Nigerians to reflect and thank God for his endless blessings on the country. He says it is also a time for all Nigerians to collectively remember the sacrifices made by the nation's founding fathers and great leaders past, by soldiers, by distinguished public servants, by traditional leaders, by workers, particularly sacrifices on which Nigeria has been built over the 59 years since independence in 1960. The president charged all to rededicate themselves to attaining the goals which have been set, which includes a united, prosperous, and purposeful nation in the face of 21st century opportunities and challenges. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 23, 2019 election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, on Monday said all is not well with Nigeria. In his message to mark Nigeria's 59th independence anniversary, the former vice president said the nation's founding fathers could never have imagined that 59 years after independence, Nigerians would be facing a situation where free press is still endangered. He also said they could not have imagined that the nation's judiciary would be under attack and that the youth and activists, who should ordinarily be the future of Nigeria, would be facing the threat of arrest and intimidation should they speak out about the state of the nation. He, however, called on Nigerians to work for the progress and development of the country and to insist that no one in the country, no matter how highly placed, shall be bigger than the laws of the land. The former vice president, however, said it is not all gloom and doom about the nation, as there is still hope for the country. He called for more investment in the education of the girl child and commended the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi, for his advocacy for the education of the girl child, and the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawali, for investing in public education. He also lauded the Chief Executive Officer of Air Peace, Chief Allen Onyema, for his public spiritedness by airlifting from South Africa to Nigeria free of charge. Nigerians who were victims of the recent xenophobic attacks in South Africa. And building a nation requires the participation of all, so says Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, speaking during an interdenominational Thanksgiving at St. Peter's Bishop Court, Asaba, to mark Nigeria's 59th independence anniversary. Governor Okowa advocated the rebuilding of all facets of the Nigerian society, especially the family system. Our correspondent has more.
Celebration marking Nigeria at 59 took off in a grand style in Delta with the state governor Ifeanyi Okowa, stressing the fact that the celebration was being held with mixed feelings. Governor Okowa was very emphatic on the need for peaceful and coexistence between Christians and Muslims.
Because the building of the nation requires the participation of all. It's a challenge to all. Because this country will need, no matter how bad it is at the moment, it requires everybody to start getting committed, just as in demand. Not only being fired up to go on to do something to cause a change today, then we must pray. We must
The governor, who charged leaders to focus more on rendering services to the people rather than exercising authority, concluded that God has a purpose for all and nothing goes on in Nigeria without his knowledge. The Bishop of Asaba, Right Reverend Justice Mogelu, in his sermon tagged The Nigerian Contraction, a matrimonial misadventure, decried high level of injustice and disunity in the country.
The central bank, they put a lot of money for training of the police and the army. Not a single person goes to oversee training. Crime Nigerians are becoming more and more sophisticated in this country, and Nigerians are using cock and shoot. In police are using cock and shoot to fight. How is that possible?
The service also witnessed Thanksgiving and special prayers for the country and its leaders. The Nigerian government has declared October 1st, Independence Day, a public holiday.
While a school of thought believes that there is nothing to celebrate, another feels Nigeria has grown in leaps and bounds. Clever TV's correspondent was on the streets of Abuja City to sample the views of Nigerians on the nation as the nation marks its 59th year as an independent nation. Her findings may be revealing. The report.
For me, we are not celebrating anything. As a man who have gotten to the age of 59, I think should be proud of himself getting a grandchildren. Nigeria have not gotten anything like grandchildren or whatever. We are celebrating every time an independent come, they will say Nigeria will get better, Nigeria will get better. It's an opposite of better, which is corruption. So I'm so delighted that Nigeria is 59 years today. So I'm very much happy and I'm alive to witness a day like this. So I pray that the good Lord will visit this dear country and everything will go in the way it's supposed. Even a blind person can witness the good things. So Nigeria has achieved a lot.
We are celebrating independence just for formality because where we are now, we are supposed to go ahead of this. People are suffering. There's nothing to show about. So I don't think I'm not happy at all because what is going on, Nigeria is too big for that. You understand? Nigeria is too. We are just celebrating, nothing to show about.
As the nation celebrates its 59th independence anniversary, the National Emergency Management Agency received another batch of 161 stranded Nigerian returnees from Libya. NEMA Coordinator, Lagos Territorial Office Idris Mohammed, who confirmed this, said the Nigerian returnees arrived at the cargo wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, at about 5:35 a.m. local time on Tuesday. He said the returnees were brought back aboard an Al Burak Air aircraft with registration number 5A DMG from Misrata City, about 200 kilometers from Tripoli, the Libyan capital. He added that the returnees were assisted home by the International Organization for Migration and the European Union under the Assisted Voluntary Returnees Program, which started in April 2017. Mohammed said the stranded Nigerians were received on behalf of the federal government by NEMA and other agencies, including the Edo State Task Force on Human Trafficking and the Nigerian Immigration Service. He said at the end of profiling of the returnees, there were 48 female adults, one female child, and seven female infants, 93 male adults, five male children, and seven male infants, totaling 161. The coordinator said three male adults who had medical issues were immediately evacuated to the hospital for medical treatment. As Nigeria celebrates 59 years of independence, United States President Donald Trump has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to drive out Boko Haram, an Islamic state in West Africa province, from Nigeria territory. In his congratulatory message released by the United States Embassy in Abuja this Monday, President Trump charged his Nigerian counterparts to dismantle all forms of insurgency in the country. The congratulatory message, personally signed by President Trump, said, "On behalf of the American people, I extend our warmest greetings and congratulate you on the 59th anniversary of Nigeria's independence. Nigeria is among our strongest partners in Africa. We share common goals of expanding trade and growing our economic relationship. We are allies in the global battle against terrorism, and we want to see Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa driven out of the region and other insurgencies like them dismantled." According to the statement, the US president also said his country welcomes Nigerian government's initiative to diversify the economy, particularly efforts by the Buhari administration to diversify opportunities for talented, creative, and hardworking people to the benefit of the two countries, Africa and the world. He wished the people of Nigeria continued success as they mark another year of independence. You're watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this timeout.
Hello and welcome to Clearview News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja.
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of KV Television.
How do you describe this your encounter with Jesus Christ and became born again?
I wasn't looking for Jesus. He was not lost. I was the one lost. He found me.
A man must understand first that he is a creative being.
Kwarai da gaske to ai in ba zaman lafiya.
Clearview Television suna kokari fiye da nake tsammani saboda na farko dai duk lokacin da mutum ya rasu su ana wani program zai same su.
Nam.
Hello guys, welcome to the entertainment today on your favorite TV station, Clearview Television.
Everything nice. I turn a night to her birthday.
That's why I'm not looking up to him.
Okay.
If I'm looking up to him now, he's saying he's having bad hair now. I will start constructing bad hair so that I will be like Papa.
Hello and welcome to your favorite program on Clearview Television, you and your host.
Your special edition of the rescue mission because of the season.
Prophet Ibrahim asked Allah that, "Oh Allah, what can you do for me? Please give me a son, even for me to slaughter him for sacrifice. I'm ready to do that."
Welcome back. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Department of State Services (DSS) have arrested former chairman of the Pension Reform Task Force, Abdul Rashid Maina. Maina, who is embroiled in a 2.1 billion naira pension scam, was arrested in a hotel in Abuja as he attempted escaping by shooting at the DSS operatives detailed to arrest him. A source said Maina hid himself in a bulletproof car for several hours before he was forced out by the operatives. On the request of the EFCC, the DSS has been monitoring his movement for days before now. It was gathered that one Zaina Buratai, a woman who claimed to be a businesswoman and philanthropist in Abuja, said Maina has been using her influence in the police force to terrorize his extended family. She claimed that Maina had ordered one of her nephews, Sadiq, to be arrested for allegedly stealing $1.7 million belonging to him. Mina's younger brother, Khalid, was also arrested and detained by officers of the IG Special Team under Abakari. It took intervention of senior police officers to secure the release of Khalid last weekend. Personnel of the anti-graft agency are said to have arrested several agents, couriers, informants, and subordinates of Mina in the last 2 months, and several properties hidden under several proceeds and concubine seized from the fugitive. Mina had in January 2019 secured a court order stopping the EFCC from declaring him wanted. Justice Giwa Ogunbonjo of the Federal High Court described the action of the anti-graft agency in declaring Mina wanted as unlawful. And the Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Tonya Isena, has been impeached. Isena was immediately replaced by Mende Obolo, who was elected as a new Speaker of the House. It will be recalled that earlier on Monday, there was a palpable confusion at the Assembly complex when the maize was reported to have disappeared. The impeached Speaker was earlier scheduled to resign honorably at the Monday plenary. However, What played out at the assembly complex shortly before the emergence of Obolo as the new speaker remains baffling to many.
I want to bring to the notice of this great House and Mr. Speaker acts of gross misconduct and dereliction of duty by the Right Honorable Tony Emmanuel Sena, Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, and to move the motion that Mr. Speaker be impeached forthwith. So moved.
Having heard the petition, the mover of the petition, and the House unanimously agreed to the petition, I hereby make the pronouncement that Honorable Tony Sinan is no longer the Speaker of this House. Honorable members, is that agreeable to all honorable members? Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I hereby support the motion being moved by Honorable of Flagship Honorable for Honorable Fukule to be the new speaker. I do support.
For newly elected Speaker to take over his right place.
Mr. Speaker,
it's about service. The honorable members are actually the leaders of this great house. And all that we do as a house, consultation is not bank. We consult to ensure that we do that which is right for the greater good of the people of our existence. By the words of Father name, this house will now adjourn to the next day.
Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Youth Network has commended members of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly for their display of maturity and firmness in installing a new Speaker of the Assembly. The Secretary General, PDP Youth Network, James Oputin, said that the membership of the Assembly deserved commendation for averting bloodshed and violence allegedly planned by the leaders of the opposition and the controversially impeached Speaker, Tonya Isena. Putin said that the action of the assembly confirmed the fears of the youth group across Bayelsa that Isena was a mole of the APC occupying a strategic position in the PDP to sabotage the efforts of the party in the forthcoming election. He said the PDP leadership, particularly the assembly, acted well to identify Isena and take him out to avert the plan of the opposition to use him at the coming election. He said that Isena was working assiduously with the leaders of the opposition to frustrate the PDP and his kinsman, Senator Doyediri. Oputins added that Isena could not hide his displeasure and pain with the emergence of his kinsman, Senator Doyediri, as a PDP candidate and the realization that the development would deprive him of the leadership of the assembly. He hailed the new Speaker Obolo and urged him to be firm in providing leadership for the House, especially at this critical period. The youth leader said that the PDP youth would engage the assembly on a planned seminar that would focus on the values and expectations of leadership after Governor Dixon. The National Union of Petroleum Gas Workers has called for immediate stop of the present unhealthy contract cycle in the industry, as it has the capacity to further impoverish workers in the oil and gas sector. Arising from its Central Working Committee at the weekend, President of the Union Williams Apareha said in the interest of industrial peace and harmony, the indecent employment contract practiced by international oil companies and labor contractors must end.
The die is cast between union bodies and employers of labor in the oil and gas sector. The leadership of the union says it is ready to activate the instruments of law and other legitimate means to fight employers who fraudulently disobey Nigerian labor laws in the oil and gas sector.
CWP section seriously frowns at the position of indecent work conditions by the various international oil company associations and their local collaborators as illegal, unfair, and inhuman. To keep a worker for a period of 3, 6, and 12 months on employment contract and keep rolling this over for several years, to us is unacceptable. We will not hesitate to take some decisive actions in the coming weeks if these situations are not immediately ameliorated.
On the target set by the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Meleko Lokiari, to rehabilitate the 3 refineries, the union says it will hold the GMD accountable as workers would monitor the process to see that Nigerians are not shortchanged.
On our own part, as unions, we also put our machineries in place to also monitor the level of activities that will take place so that it doesn't go down again as a political statement.
The unions also called for revitalization and resuscitation of various petroleum products depots across the country, as this would lead to steady and uninterrupted production that would grow the oil and gas industry.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has set aside 22 billion naira intervention funds to support the development of the creative industry in the country. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele told the Creative Nigerian Summit in Lagos that the initial funds is to support young entrepreneurs in the development of digital content and will be implemented over a 5-year period. The reports.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, at the Creative Nigeria Summit in Lagos said the initial funds are to support young entrepreneurs in the development of digital content, which will be implemented over a 5-year period.
I say within this 22 billion, it's not just about building the IT hub, the creative hub. That young people, whether in the movie, whether you are in the music, you are in the IT, software development, or you are in the fashion industry, should be able to access funding from your bank. Even as bankers, we need the economy to grow for us to survive. So supporting the creative industry, which houses most of our people, all right, is something that we must do.
Emefiele added that the Apex Bank plans to establish a creative industry park across 3 major cities in Nigeria with the support of the federal and state governments, with Lagos as the initial pilot scheme.
Following the development of those pilot schemes in Lagos, we intend to set up similar parks in Kano, Port Harcourt, or Enugu, depending on who invites us first between the two. Our goal through the establishment of these parks is to create an environment where startups and existing businesses can be incubated and rewarded for their creativity.
The CBN governor noted that in the area of music production and distribution, the initiative over the next 5 years will enable young Nigerians to capture significant market shares of $10.7 billion music industry. With this, the Central Bank of Nigeria has fulfilled its promise of assisting the creative industry.
Adamawa State Governor Umaru Fintiri has visited his hometown Madagali to assess the level of damage caused by Boko Haram insurgency in the area. As our correspondent now tells us, Madagali is located in the northern part of the state and has been worst hit by attacks from insurgents and bandits who have made life unbearable for the community. Our correspondent completes the story.
Due to its proximity to the terrorist hideouts, the Sambisa forest, which is a few kilometers away, Madagali local government is the worst hit by Boko Haram in Anambra State. Governor Umaru Fintri hails from Gallop village in Madagali.
With my people, know their problem also because they're also part of Adama, particularly that they are recovering from the crisis of Boko Haram.
The governor says the visit to his hometown Madagali is to obtain first-hand information that will aid restructuring program in at rebuilding insurgencies ravaged communities in certain local government area of the state.
We need stability. We will want to start rebuilding the communities, particularly in this local government and Michika, and also extending it to Mubi North, Mubi South, Maiha Hong, and Gombe.
To strengthen the efforts of the security agencies to secure the lives and properties of residents, the state government is improving the welfare of the vigilante to complement the police and the army in the fight against terrorism.
A da muna aiki ba dare ba rana game da kayan aiki. Muna karanci da, amma alhamdulillah dan talikin da Allah ya bashi gaskiya mun samu cin gaba sosai ga tallafi yana bamu.
Structures in Madagali still bears the scars of the incident stacks. The people are, however, hopeful that peace would be fully restored.
No fewer than 160 out of the 300 children rescued from the Regasa Torture House in Kaduna have been reunited with their families. And this is coming few days after the Kaduna State Police Command rescued the 300 children. We have the details.
Last week, the Kaduna Police State Command rescued not fewer than 300 children from a Quranic school-turned torture house. The rescued children are now at the Kaduna State Arch Camp. According to the police, the children has been handed over to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Human Development for proper rehabilitation.
Since the children are not offenders, there is no reason why they should be with the police. We kept them that night for safe custody, and the following morning we handed over the children to the state government.
Now, some of the children have united with their families. Commissioner of Women Affairs and Human Development, Afsat Babaziz, says others will soon get to meet their families.
Relating with immigration, because they have desk officers, so the immigration officer in charge has been contacted, and then he will come and do his own documentation. We'll hand over the children to the immigration officers. From there, they will also know what to do.
Yusuf Khalid, the brother of two of the victims, said the family did not know what they were subjecting victims to until they were rescued.
Some they used to say that the children are maltreated in different way, which is not supposed to be like the way how it is.
Following the discovery, many are calling on governments to investigate the matter. Perhaps there may be other torture houses.
When you go all over northern Nigeria, you find such kind of places where they chain unruly children because government cannot fund and adequately maintain its hostel home.
But I know the only way you can control kids, first of all, is start to do with parental care. You know, the moral decadence in society is so high to the extent that somehow parents alone cannot actually, put their children under check.
For now, the torture house is under lock and security operatives are around the area to forestall any breakdown of law and order.
Following the ugly trend of characters across board among youth in Nigerian society today, a group of concerned individuals gathered this Tuesday in Abuja to enlighten parents on the need to instill in their children the right upbringing. Speaking at the Parent Summit Africa event, the keynote speaker and founder Young Stars Foundation, Kingsley Banwell, stressed the importance of the family and proper parenting to the ethical values of the society and nation building. Our correspondent, Agnete Patrick, has more.
The old school or traditional Nigerian parenting style includes tough love, discipline, instilling a sense of responsibility and diligence at home chores directed mostly at the female child. The Nigerian family puts a big premium on respect, traditions, and culture, forgetting that parenting is the practice of going through directing, producing, and ending at post production of presenting the child to the society. Bangwell, however, wants parents to find a balance with career and family upbringing for better products in the society.
The family is the nucleus of every society, and so therefore it infers that family plays a large extent in defining how every society emerges. The quality of family, the quality of parenting, the kind of values that we're transmitting at the family level, which eventually plays out at the larger society, defines the quality, the ethical fiber of every society. And that's why it's important that we're using a day like today, while we celebrate our 59th national independence, to one more time begin to look at that very important subsector of society, which is the family. To say, how is family contributing to nation building? So that the key stakeholders at the family level, the man and the woman, need to furthermore, review, interrogate how they've been parenting, because eventually the impact of their parenting role is felt by the larger society. Our society today seems to be defined by a lot of, permit me to use the word, negative values. You open the news, what you're hearing is either there is fraud has been uncovered in this government agency, or there is insecurity, or there is kidnapping, or there is bombing and all of that. A lot of negativity. But these are all perpetuated by people. And I always say everybody can be traced to a family.
Convener of Parents Summit Africa speaks on the initiative behind educating parents on parenting as they hope to use the Child Rights Act to aid their work, and they hope to push it to the grassroots and internally displaced persons.
We have the Child Rights Act, which hasn't even been adopted by all the states in Nigeria. Some of the states in Nigeria haven't adopted the Child Rights Act. So part of what we're doing is our core mission is to educate and equip. So part of what we are doing is to educate parents on who children are and what children should and shouldn't be exposed to. So we're getting there. We're doing it one parent at a time. So hopefully, we do that not just with the summit. We do it on our social media platforms. We do quarterly workshops. So it's a continuous process. There's a lot of work to be done. It cannot be done in one day. So we keep educating as we have these conversations. As we have influenced one parent here, we believe that this parent is going to take it to their neighbors, and that parent talks about it to somewhere else. So the more we have these conversations, the more chances we have to spread the word around.
Some parents at the events expressed satisfaction with the lessons learned and hope to extend same to others in order to change the narrative of the old school parenting.
So many things the speaker actually talking about is really hitting on me seriously. Yeah, I think I'll really work on that seriously with my kids. Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, those people I know, my friends, family members, those I can get, closer to, I think with the social media, it will help a lot. And I think I'm going to pass this message, what I've learned today, to my other siblings, my brothers, sisters. I also talk to my nephews and nieces also. I've really learned a lot these few minutes I've spent here, and I'm so happy being here.
So what they're doing here is okay, is something that if you're not here, you are missing, because they're teaching us how to equip our children to make a better Nigeria. Because some people are sitting out there and saying, Nigeria, we are not moving forward, we are failed. But when you as a parent fail at home, that means Nigeria as a nation have failed. But when you do your own work as a parent at home, Nigeria will also be great as a nation. So we are wholesome, resilient, and nation builders.
This advocacy is aimed at ensuring that parents understand their role in adding ethnic and artisanal value to the society, as they also hope to take the advocacy to other African countries as well. Anita Patrick, reporting for Clearview Television.
Also, this Tuesday, Nigeria joined the rest of the world to mark this year's International Day of Older Persons. The Abuja chapter of the International Federation of Female Lawyers, otherwise known as FIDA, met to commemorate the event with older persons at Amazing Grace Foundation, Abuja. Clever TV's Joy Isekwe was there and now reports.
The 1st of October of every year is celebrated as the International Day of Older Persons. It is a day set aside by the United Nations to raise awareness about issues affecting the elderly, as well as to appreciate their contributions to the society. The UN states that empowering older persons in all dimensions of development, including promoting their active participation in social, economic, and political life, is one way to ensure their inclusiveness and reduce inequalities. Speaking at this year's celebration, the founder, Amazing Grace Foundation, Dr. Ifanyiwa Obegolu, says the foundation has been involved in providing medical and welfare services to elderly people, especially those in need.
We have been creating awareness, giving medical treatment, giving welfare administration, giving support to the elderly. Nothing will be different. We have been doing it all these years. And it falls every October. Every 1st of October, they gather, first of all, to give glory to God and to pray for the nation.
As part of FIDA's mandate to provide humanitarian services for the needy, its regional vice president, Northeast, Victoria Awomolo, called on the government to come up with policies that will adequately cater for the benefit of the elderly.
Old people, the older persons in our society need to be taken care of. Yes, we as FIDA are doing our bit as an NGO, but we are still asking for more from government. Let that be a structured program, a structured intervention on monthly, quarterly basis that government will have an impact in their lives. That government can reach them, because it is not normal in our society, Nigeria or Africa, to carry your old persons to a home like this. And I want to salute those who have the courage to bring their mothers and their fathers to this old people's home, and for the old people's home also to have gone out of their way to pick them up from the streets. Many of them are indigent, clearly, and so government needs to take care. They are taking care of the youth. They must have a plan for the aged, so that together we will be a peaceful country.
Her position received support from other FIDA members who stressed the need for the older persons to be well catered for in order to make life more meaningful for them.
The inequality in the society, it's so easy to relegate the older people. You see that they are old, and then you distance them as if they do not exist anymore. But in actual fact, what should be addressed by the government is how to really take care of these older persons without putting them through unnecessary stress, and fend for them. And don't just put them in that old people's home in the care of anybody. Make sure that it is somebody that cares for the old people.
We have come here to give our beats, to celebrate the elder people at the Amazing People's Home. The government has supported us in so many ways. The government has done its own part by introducing laws that protects the women and children, just like we have the Child Right Act. And then we also have laws that protects, we have a law that protects the indigent people, especially the young women and the youths too.
For these folks gathered here to celebrate the 2019 International Day of Older Persons, they are of the opinion that the elderly persons should be treated with equal rights, devoid of discrimination. This year's theme is a journey to age equally. Joy Isekweyi, reporting for Clearview Television.
Madam Beauty Ogeere Siasia has been released by her abductors. The mother of the former player and coach of the Super Eagles has been speaking on her days in captivity. She regained her freedom in the early hours of Saturday, 28th September 2019, after spending 77 days in the kidnappers' den. The report.
Madam Ugorere, Beauty Siasia, mother of former Super Eagles keeper and coach Samson Siasia, has regained her freedom after spending over 2 months with her kidnappers. The first gist about her release came from Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, on Sunday morning. Then it was announced that the 80-year-old has been released by her abductors since she was taken away at dusk from her house. Her famous son had been begging the kidnappers to release her as he did not have the huge ransom they were demanding. He also appealed to both the federal and state governments to come to his family's rescue. The Bayelsa State Commissioner of Police was at the home of the Siasia.
Because of the collective efforts of the community and the police themselves, we gave them relentless pressure, and the pressure has paid off.
The 80-year-old mother of former player, coach of the Super Eagles, Samson Siasia, was released alongside a 17-year-old girl and the man who were held by kidnappers after initial attempt to negotiate their release.
Now they beat me. The place they don't stay too day. The place they stay too day. Say on our wahala every day tire me make it go. And in they carry me one man with one girl with be like with me.
You can see the glamour. Everybody is happy because why? Our son has made us proud, and his mother has been released.
This is the second time mother of the former Super Eagles coach was being adopted. Madam Ugorere was first kidnapped in November 2015 before she was released 12 days after.
You're watching Clearview Television. News. The news will continue shortly after this timeout. Welcome back. The 29th day of September of every year is slated in the Igbo calendar to mark the annual Igbo Day celebration. It is also a day to showcase the rich cultural heritage of Igbo to the world. Part of this year's event, held in Abuja, had a lot of Igbo groups in the Federal Capital Territory in attendance, as our correspondent Cecilia Okoli completes the story.
Igbo culture, popularly known as Omenala Igbo, is the embodiment of the customs, practices, and traditions of the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. The Igbo community in Abuja come together to celebrate their achievements within the year. Speaking at the event, President of Ohaneze Ndibo FCT chapter, Odozi Nwodozi, says the essence of the celebration is to show that the Igbo people are peace lovers and wonderful people who should be emulated. He also expressed optimism that the Igbo culture has come to stay and stay it must.
29th of September every year is a year of reminiscing for the Igbo nation. It's a time the Igbo people all over the world look back into our journey in the Nigerian project, what we have contributed, what we have benefited, and our sufferings and our gains. That things we take this time to look, and more especially, we use this time to look into our past as regards our people that were killed during the 6 months civil war. A wonderful people, united, friendly, progressive, peace-loving. They are a great set of people. As you can see, there's a conscious move towards keeping the Igbo culture on the front burner. What we are doing today is part of it. As you can see today, we've come back to draw the line between Western culture and our own culture. Today we've come to let the world know that we've not abandoned our culture. We're still looking up and we still embrace our culture no matter where we've gone to and what height we've attained as a people.
Also speaking, The Vice Chairman, Abuja Municipal Area Council, Lawrence Onuchukwu, says the Igbo culture is a beautiful culture and cannot go on extinction.
Disagree with you 100%. Igbos, like I said, this is FCT, this is not our Igbo land, but every 29th September, we remember our culture, we remember our tradition. So those who are telling you that Igbo culture will go, that is not correct. It's a very wrong assumption. They are not united. Certainly, I will not be the vice chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council. I ran for election and my people voted for me. For me, we are united. That's why I was given opportunity to serve them. And by God's grace, I will continue to serve them better. So for us in Abuja, we are very much united.
The Igbos, however, express their love for their cultures and traditions and show willingness to move on with the same culture.
Ata is a true Igbo woman. Ata. We are here to promote peace and also recognize our brothers and sisters who have done so much well by helping a lot of people, playing as a philanthropist, making sure there is peace in this nation. But I know that we are one Nigeria and will still remain one Nigeria. Igbos are wonderful people, and that is why our culture is still the best.
Well, basically, it is to create a connection back from Abuja here back home. It is to celebrate who we are. It is to praise ourselves where we are coming from. Abuja is very far from home. It's very far from where we are from, and there is need not to lose touch with our tradition.
And also at the event, Senator Enyinaya Abaribe advised the Igbos on the modalities of promoting and maintaining the Igbo languages and cultures in years to come. It is very difficult for an Igbo man not to speak Igbo language. You just told me yourself that you can't speak Igbo. We need to carefully teach Igbo language to you all because the Igbo language is very important. When you call people to speak the Igbo language, they always find it very difficult to speak. We know we will need to mix Igbo and English language, but the typical Igbos will understand easily. I advise parents to train and teach their children the typical Igbo language now because no one knows tomorrow. Because your language is your source of identification. You can't be an Igbo man and not speak Igbo language. The celebration had a lot of beautiful performances as well as dance and music. Cecilia Okoli, reporting for Clearview Television.
And on the foreign scene, parents and Christian groups in Ghana have pushed back against the planned introduction of comprehensive sexuality education for primary school children age 4. Education officials in Ghana says the UNESCO program will empower children with information on their sexuality and reproductive health issues. The director, Ghana Education Service, says CSE will help nurture positive attitudes, open-mindedness, respect for self and others, non-judgmental attitudes, and a sense of responsibility concerning sexual and reproductive health issues. However, pressure groups in Ghana says the program is a guide to introduce children to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender activism. The National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values, a pressure group that claims homosexuality is a sin, says the program is a strategy, a plan that is not always open for all to see. The leader of the pressure group, Moses For Amoni, said parents and Christian groups are questioning why young children have to be introduced to sex education before they are sexually active, describing the plans as demonic. Leaders of Ghana's Teachers Association say they have not been consulted on the program but have served notice that they are opposed to the move. The comprehensive sexuality education program is set to take effect after consultations with stakeholders in the education sector. A Moroccan journalist, Hajar Razoni, has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for premarital sex and having an abortion. Hajar Rizoni was arrested with her fiancé as they left a gynecologist a clinic in the capital, Rabat, in August. The 28-year-old and her fiancé, a Sudanese national, denied the charges, saying she had sought treatment for internal bleeding. Ms. Rosoni, who works for an independent newspaper critical of the authorities, denounced the case against her as a political trial, saying she had been questioned by police about her family and her writing. Her lawyer, Abdulmola El Marori, expressed shock over the verdict, saying all the medical and legal evidence should have led to an acquittal. He said he would appeal against the verdict. The prosecutor in the case said the circumstances of the journalist's arrest had nothing to do with her work as a journalist, and that the clinic she had visited was under police surveillance on suspicion of carrying out illegal abortions. The court sentenced her fiancé to 1 year in prison and her doctor to 2 years. The doctor's assistant and the nurse at the clinic were also found guilty, but were given suspended sentences. The regional director for Human Rights Watch, Ahmed Benchemsi, described the verdict as a black day for freedom in Morocco, calling it a blatant injustice, a flagrant violation of human rights, and a frontal attack on individual freedoms. You're still watching Clearview Television News, and next is the sports news.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimei Tolulapo Oguntimei. Stakeholders have commended the organizer of Five-Star Football League following a wonderful conclusion to the 3 months-long league. Some of the major dignitaries that graced the event were full of praise for the manner in which it was organized. The report.
About 2.16 million naira was up for grabs as the Abuja Five-Star Premier League Grassroots Football Tournament came to an end over the weekend. The competition, which kicked off 3 months ago with 12 clubs, witnessed an interesting final between Arts FC and Trinity Boys. 3 first-half goals secured victory, managed to get consolation goal in the second half. FCT Football Association Chairman Adam Mohammed, Senator Prince Woko, National Youth Council of Nigeria President Bello Shagari, and John Fashanu were among the top dignitaries that graced the occasion and promised to continue to support the competition.
Well, it's fantastic. It's football, so naturally, we as the regulators and enablers of football, we're supposed to encourage any kind of tournament, event that promotes football. And that's why I'm here. It's the first time an FA chairman has come to such a private event and I want to do more by encouraging private participation, especially Five Star. They've done a great job. I followed them from the beginning, and now today we have come to the final, and it was a great spectacle, and everybody enjoyed themselves. And football is the winner at the end of the day.
Well, first of all, you're probably aware of my sports university project going on in Delta State. That is a university that is geared towards enhancing sports, all sports, from football to swimming to taekwondo, tennis, all sports. Um, but aside that, we are also at this point in time, working closely with Fulham Football Club in London and Soccer Stars Project. They have been here. They've gone around some of the states in Nigeria, from Lagos to Anambra and Delta, and scouting for young footballers. And some of these footballers, we expect them to end up playing overseas. It's a way of grooming them, encouraging them, and getting them to get away from crime and other vices, but get there and be useful to themselves and to the country.
This is a wonderful development. As you know, one of the problems we are having in this country is disunity, joblessness, and idleness. And this kind of programs actually bring young people together from every part of the country, people of different creed, of different ethnic groups, and others. So it's a very good development that the Five Star decided to come up with a program like this to bring young Nigerians together to display their skills in order to market themselves to the to the larger society.
It's a great platform. It's an absolutely amazing platform. Even here, when I see the scouts, I'm seeing so many players who would normally, people would just push over them. People wouldn't even see them. But because we know that we've got the backing of Honourable Ned, people can now take their time, select the right players, men and women, and help to take them abroad. He's inspiring them.
Olumide Aturu, the organizer, said he is quite happy with the turnout of the dignitaries, and it shows that Nigerians are interested in the growth of the grassroots sport.
I can't say but thank God for what he has done again for us, and then thank God for the passion that kept burning in us. And then this is just the beginning to me. We are still going far ahead. Nigeria is a big country. We can do as many things as possible with grassroots sports development. And then we're excited that there are opportunities for footballers that showcase their talent in the league. And then today, having been the grand finale, and then we have a lot of superstars and celebrities, a lot of people supporting grassroots football development in Nigeria. I'm very confident and optimistic that now Nigeria will move forward, even from the grassroots to the topmost level. Because let me tell you that the Super Eagles and everything that we have, they can't do more if they are not brought up properly from the grassroots. And this is what we are showcasing. This is the ample opportunity we are giving all of them to actually translate what they have back to the pitch. And then I'm happy that we have built a soccer archery in Abuja, and we are going to extend to other parts of the country.
The 3-month-long event climax with performance from B-Red, special appearance by Kiki Osibanjo and Regina Daniels. Samuel Adekunle reporting from Clearview Television.
Nigeria senior women's team Super Falcons continue the pursuit of a ticket to the women's football tournament of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics when they flew into Abidjan, capital city of Cote d'Ivoire, on Tuesday, ahead of a second-round first-leg clash with the Ivorian counterparts on Thursday. The nighttime African champions and 3 new winners on aggregate over Algeria in the first round arrive Abidjan in the evening early enough to have a walkout. They will have the official training session at the match venue on Wednesday. Acting head coach Christopher Danjuma has selected 7 overseas-based players and 11 London-based professionals for the clash, with new captain and FC Barcelona ace Asisa Toshola leading the 18-woman playing body. There are also defenders Chidema Okeke and Osinasio Hale, midfielders Ngozi Okobi and Chinaza Uchendu, and forward Francisco Dega and Rashida Dajibadi from overseas. Goalkeepers Tochukwu Luei and Chiamaka Nadoze, defenders Goche Menayo, Gloria Ogbonna, Miriam Ibrahim, midfielders Amarachi Okoronko, Cecilia Nku, Hiyoma Ogebuchi, and Reginald Tu, and forward Git Monde, Rafia Sule complete the roster. The Nigeria Football Federation has already scheduled the return leg of the fixtures for the Agege Stadium, Lagos State, on Monday, 7th October 2019. And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimehin Tolulapo Oguntimehin.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
Welcome back. Thank you to Lulapo Guntumei for the latest from the Sport Index. And that's all for the news. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. As Nigeria marks its 59th independence anniversary, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for sacrificing unity to keep alive the dreams of the nation's founding fathers. The Speaker of Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Tonye Isena, was on Monday impeached and quickly replaced by Monday Bobo Obolo under controversial circumstances. And in Ghana, the introduction of sex education in primary schools has sparked protests, just as a female Moroccan journalist and her fiancé have bagged a one-year jail sentence over alleged abortion. And that's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV, like us on Facebook, Clearview Television, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online, follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Nigecomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I'm Rose Audu. Many thanks for joining us.